Good day, fellas. This is your daily dose of skill, and today we are going to speak about very special and very important things, right? We are speaking about the new equipment. So there was approximately a couple of weeks when we have a new patch, maybe even 3 weeks, and I was checking the new equipment. I was trying different various builds over there, and I think I have a quite good understanding how the new equipment is working and what we're supposed to use as a players, right? And I can tell you one thing: there is no only one way how to make your tank work, because everything is depending of the driver. So it depends on you. Do you want to go for damage setup? Do you want to go for spotting setup? Do you want to be hybrid? Do you want to be do you want to boost your survivability, as an example, artist Spall liner? So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a tough one, and you are the one which will need to decide everything. I will go through every single equipment. I will say what it does, and hopefully I will help you in this way, and I will show you some kind of builds which I made and which made the tank work better, and I will give you some advices right here. So instead of talking too much, I believe we can start our journey, and we can check out what kind of equipment do we have, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. So first of all, let's speak about everything from the bottom. As you can see, every single tank from tier 6 up to the tier 10 have a special slot. What special slot means? As an example, light tank have division slot, right? Medium tank, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, have the speed spot, right? Heavy tank have survivability spot, as you can see over there, and tank destroyers have a damage slot over there, as you can excusez-moi, and tank destroyers have the damage slot, as you can see over there, right? So here you go. Those are the basic things which every single of us noticed and every single of us needs to know. So first of all, in this slot you can put the things which is suited for this, or if you do not think you want to use any of those, then you can pretty much use something else if you don't feel like it, right? I suggest, fellas, to first of all check out this equipment slot and then to make a decision what do you want to use or what you don't want to use, right? This is the important thing in my opinion. But once again, everything is depending on you, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's go into the equipment and let's talk about it. First of all, let's talk from the damage equipment over there. So what do we have? Standard equipment, gun rammer. Every single of you know how it works. It's making your reload time either 10% faster, or if you are putting that into the special slot, 11.5% faster. It's good equipment. Probably majority of the people is using it, so no surprises over there. Vertical stabilizer, making your dispersion 20% less when you are turning your tank or you are turning your turret. Amazing equipment, and it's still useful. Now we have a new thing which is giving you half values of the stabilizer, right, fellas? But you are getting some extra to traverse, to turret traverse speed and to vehicle traverse speed. So it is great equipment, and it's making your tank faster. This equipment is working extremely well if you are mixing those two. So you are using stabilizer, standard stabilizer, and the new stabilizer. For example, Borat. Every single of you know Borat vehicle for yourself, right? Uno momento, kaboom, 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 kaboom. Here you go. This is a Borat. What I would use on Mr. Borat to make this vehicle better? It's already extremely strong tank, every single of you know that. But in the same time, you know, the gun handling can be a bit, pain in the ass sometimes. So what can you do? You can pretty much replace ventilation to improve the rotation mechanism. So what kind of situation you are having right here? Your tank is becoming so much more powerful, and you have pretty much better rotation speed on the turret, and you are more accurate because you are getting 30% instead of getting only 20 by rammer. by bloody vertical stabilizer. So this is one of the builds which I want to show for you fellas. You are using rotation mechanism, you are using stabilizer, and you are using optics or alternatively ventilation, whatever floats your boat. So this is one of the builds. You are going to make gun powerful, and I would highly recommend to use this build for pretty much French medium tanks, maybe even 50B, or someone else who do not have the greatest gun handling, right? As an example, I can only imagine how 50B would look like. Dropping optics, having the ventilation, having the rotation mechanism, and having the stabilizer. 50B is going to be powerful, fellas, or T57 as an example, right? So yeah, this is one of the builds. Let's continue, fellas. So this is the mechanism which is, in my opinion, extremely powerful and extremely good. Next, what do we have? Improved aiming thingy. So this thing, I would highly recommend to use this this equipment on the tanks with which you are sniping from the red line. As an example, STRV, Grille, FV 4005. Why so? Because it's pretty much reducing your aim time. So looking into the Death Star as an example, or Grille, right? What kind of effect it has for your vehicle. So if we are looking into the Grille, we can see our dispersion is 0.23, which is great in my opinion, and it's adding extra 0.01. Now you might think, but skill, extra 0.01 is not that great. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, when you are sniping from the red line, every single percent counts, okay? And it's just great in my opinion. Once again, you are the ones which is trying to decide, and you are the ones which is deciding what you want to go for and how you want to use it, right? And looking into the more extreme change over there, right? Let's check how it would influence the trash burn, AK 4000 something, right? So look, let's use this over there, and you can see, fellas, on trash burn, this mechanism is giving 0.02, so it's even better. Look at this accuracy, 0.33 on the trash burn. The tank which can one-shot people, you know? So once again, in my opinion, it's very, very useful for the tank destroyers, and you can actually connect way more shots than you could before, right? So keep this in mind. Moving next. What do we have over there? We have the ventilation. Ventilation is very, very known for everyone. If you do not know what kind of equipment to use, right, ventilation will work fine because it's going to boost you overall in general quite a bit. As an example, by having ventilation in the full first slot as the tank destroyer, right, you are getting, instead of 5% bonus, you are getting 6% bonus. And there is many cases which I'm using ventilation. As an example, E5, clicking on the E5, here you go. Ventilation is right there. It's boosting your tank a bit, and this is a basic equipment, and I still think it's going to be useful when you are going for a full damage build. As an example, for this E5, fellas, we don't have survivability tools. We have only raw gunpowder, raw damage. Ventilation, rammer, stabilizer. Speaking about the stabilizer, you can always use the rotation mechanism if you want so. So once again, there is no limits for your creativity, fellas. If back in before 1.10 patch, you could use like 5 useful equipment: stabilizer, rammer, optics, ventilation, binos, right? 5 equipments which was actually useful. Nowadays, you are the one which is the driver of the tank, and there is no such a thing as the right equipment, because we can have an Argo idea, right? You can take the same E5 and you can replace bloody ventilation. For example, if you hate Artas, right, when you are getting fapped by them, you can use the Spall liner. If you don't like the Spall liner, you can use the thing which is making you to repair faster. Once again, there is no limits from your creativity, so test out the things and check how everything is looking like, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, moving on next. What do we have over there? We have gun laying drive. This is a typical equipment. Every single of you know that it's pretty much giving you faster aiming, right? When you are staying still. Now, the biggest and the most important thing over there, fellas. Some people don't know what to use. Do I use stabilizer or do I use the gun laying drive? What is actually better? So look, whenever you are moving, whenever you are doing something, vertical stabilizer is the right way to go, right? Because overall your bloom is going to be 20% smaller, which is good. So that means you are going to aim not from the huge reticle, but you are going to have smaller reticles to start with, and then you are starting aiming. But when you are sitting in the back with a grill, or you are sitting in the back with whatever else tank, like a trash burn as an example, you are not moving, you are not turning your turret too much, so you can use gun laying drive. And plus on top of that, on the tank destroyers, you cannot use vertical stabilizer, you can use only improved rotation mechanism, which is once again quite great equipment. So when we have when we dealt with all of this, fellas, what we are going to do now, we are going to go for a heavy tank equipment, and this is where the things is going really different and more interesting in my opinion. So moving on here, what do we have over there? We have modified configuration class 1. What is over there, my lovely friends? This is the equipment which is pretty much saving your inside models. So as an example, you have a repair speed of the 35% if you are using that in the certain slot for a heavy tanks. You have your ammo rack is safer, so you are not going to get ammo racked as often. You are not going to burn as often as you used to do. So this equipment is definitely useful for 212, or however it's called, the heavy tank, the special reward heavy tank, right? It is just amazing. And if you are getting ammo rack right here, the damaged ammo rack penalty is going to be 65% instead of being half this, right? So this is very, very great stuff, fellas. It is extremely good. So in the same time, you know, you don't need to immediately repair your ammo rack. Maybe you can repair something else track, as an example, when you are getting caught in the open in a way, right? Here you go. This is the equipment which can be useful for mouse, T95, and for whatever you want, right? This is a good thing in my opinion. Okay, moving on next. What do we have over there? We have a Spall liner. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Spall liner is aka anti-arta equipment. So if you are one of those players which is enjoying going with E1 hander mouse and something slow, this is the equipment which I would highly recommend to use. What is happening? High explosives is doing way less damage for you by 60%. High explosives overall is big RNG, but you know, with Artas you will feel it over time. You're not getting punished as hard, right? Plus, on top of that, it is protecting your crew, so this is another great stuff. Stun duration is lower by 15 seconds and by 25 seconds when someone is hitting you second time while you are stunned with Arta, from the Arta, right? So this is a great equipment for big heavy meatballs if you want to increase your survivability. But once again, remember, you are the one which is making a decision what you want to go for. Do you want to go for survivability mods, or do you want to go for damage mods? You know, whatever floats your boat. There is no such a thing as wrong decision over there, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Okay, moving on next. Improved hardening. This is another interesting equipment. So what is happening? You are getting extra 10% of the hit points. You are getting your suspension hit points is increasing. There is another stat which none of us know. In a way, right? Pretty much your track have amount of the hit points. I will explain this very, very quickly. You are going with mouse, and you are meeting Grille. Grille is shooting into the tracks and you are getting tracked immediately. Everyone understands that. Now you are meeting some kind of T92 light tank, tier 8. Your tracks is not damaged. Your tracks is damaged. Your tracks is still holding because that small shitter, he doesn't have enough caliber, enough penetration to go through it. And from the fourth shot, he is tracking you. And that's how it goes. So instead of having to shoot you 3 times, he needs to shoot 5 times. And as an example, right? So here you go. Another one, suspension repair speed. So how fast you are repairing, right? That's very good. And also to load capacity. Pretty much you can, this is kind of useless in my opinion, but probably it's helping a bit for the speed, right, of the tank, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty much you can store more stuff into the tank. So if, as an example, in order to use the gun of on some kind of stock tank, you need to research the tracks, you can use this equipment. So you are going to have bigger load in the tank, and you can use gun instead of researching the tracks, right? I believe it makes sense. So yeah, here you go. This is interesting equipment, and once again, it's going to find his own people which is going to use it. I must admit, I saw many medium tanks rolling with this. As an example, Rev, instead of having 1,400 hit points, he had 1,520, if I'm not mistaken, something like this. Weird stuff, but hey, more hit points in the battlefield, better for us, boys. So here you go. This is the all equipment of the survivability, right? It's up to you what you are going to use. There is no such a thing as, you know, the right equipment to use. Do you want to get some examples how to use them? For example, I made some kind of trollish builds over there. For example, Bobject. I am using like survivability equipment. I am using improved hardening. I am using modified configuration class 1, and I'm using rammer for viewing. For the DPM. What is suffering? View range is suffering 400 meters, but at least you are strong as a vehicle yourself. You know, you are strong. You can do the things properly. So here you go. This is one example. Another example, speaking about the T95, right, boys and girls, ladies and gents. T95, I went with this kind of setup, and obviously I was using the I think I was using the Spall liner for this, if I'm not mistaken. But once again, this is as an example, fellas. It doesn't mean you need to use what I use. I am just showing the abilities, what you can go for. Once again, everything is depending on you. Do you want to go for survivability, damage per minute, accuracy, or whatever? The opportunities are endless now, and you know what? I truly like the patch 1.10 because it gave us so much creativity as a players. It is insane. Okay, moving on next. What do we have? We have a speed equipment. So we spoken about this. How about this equipment? So what is happening? It is pretty much giving you 20% traverse speed and 15% for maintaining speed. In my opinion, this is not like equipment which I would use myself, but there is one big fat but. If you are the player which likes to ram, as an example, you like to troll in the battlefield, you like to take your E50 and you are feeling like, no, I want to meet some kind of light tank, heavy tank destroyer, mini Scorpion tier 7. That's how you are feeling like, right? This equipment can be fun for trollish purposes. So you are putting this equipment, you are putting something for speed, even the extra fuel or however it's called, so you are fast, you can ram. Overall, I don't really think it's very useful because it's just not me, okay? This is not for me, my lovely friends. But once again, it's up to you. If you are using it, it is completely fine. Next, moving on, next, fellas, Turbocharger. I believe every single of you noticed this equipment already, and you can make your tanks faster. So, as an example, Turbocharger, what it is giving for you? It's giving 10% extra horsepower if you are using in the right slot. It's giving you 5 kilometers per hour speed, and it's giving you reverse speed of the 3 kilometers. As an example, right? If you are going to use this equipment for some kind of other tank, let's see, if you would use that for a waffle cock, right? What kind of stuff it would give? It would give 4 kilometers for 4 kilometers going in front and 2 kilometers going backwards. Or as an example, on the trash barn, which is actually quite crucial to move back, right? What kind of situation would you have? You would have you would actually go 4 kilometers faster and 2 kilometers faster backwards. So, you know, it's up to you. This equipment is useful for those guys, at least in my opinion, which like to run through the map to the left, to the right. As an example, light tanks or some kind of mobile mediums as Leopard, as an example, right? But once again, is it worth it? Maybe there is more a better equipment, or you can have a special setup for yourself. You can troll a bit, you can make slower tanks faster. As an example, T95 Supercharger, you are using it and you are gaining extra 4 kilometer speed, which is quite crucial to get into position in time, right? So once again, there is no lines for opportunities right there. You want to use it on E5? Use it. You want to use it on the mouse? Use it. No one is stopping you. So, you know, a bit of experimentation and everything is going to be Gucci. Okay, moving on next. What do we have left, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? We have a sneaky equipment. This is going to be a good one. So, looking into the sneaky equipment, what do we have? This is extremely powerful tools. Everyone knows Binance. We don't need to talk about that. It's 25%. It is 25% overall and 27% and a half when you are putting it into the light tank slot. Everyone knows that lower tier lights, oh, this can work very, very good. Everyone knows ventilation, everyone knows optics, that's completely fine. Now let's go to the new stuff, and obviously everyone knows Camonet, no one cares about that. Now let's go for a 3 important stuff. Improved radio set commander vision system and low noise exhaust system. Now, one of the things. Let's start from this equipment quickly. This thing is pretty much increasing your concealment. Now, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this equipment, in my opinion, can be useful in the trollish builds, right? You are playing with your ELC even 90, right? You want to be that sneaky mosquito, don't you? I know you want to. You are putting this one in your... going in the bushes like this. But overall, as everyday game, if you want to be a bit competitive, I don't really think there is this equipment is extremely strong or extremely good. I think it is a trollish one if you want to troll with your ELC even 90 or whatever else, then it can work. Otherwise, yeah, you know, extra camo, yeah, I don't really think it's worth it. Anyways, now those two equipments is extremely, extremely strong and extremely important. Let's start with the strongest one, in my opinion. So, what Commander's Vision System is doing? It is giving you 20% minus camo for the enemies. As an example, imagine that Griley sitting in the bushes, you are 300 meters away and you cannot see him. By using this equipment with a light tank, you will be able to spot through some kind of bushes. So it is extremely powerful, especially Malinovka, Kempinovka, where people is sitting next to the red line in the bushes, right? This equipment is must on the light tank if you know how to spot, right? If you want to spot for your team. Plus on top of that is it is removing minus 12.5% of moving enemy vehicles. So this is even harder. So imagine that. Enemies are moving through the bushes, they are getting minus 30% of the camo, something like this, right? It is bloody insane. It is crazy. It is go-to equipment for any light tank player. And if I would be you, if I would go for scouting, I would put it in the first position by any means. This is the first equipment which you want to have. Now, another one, quite interesting one, also working quite well with equipment which is making tanks spotted for a longer time. As an example, I have this for Ferrari. It works quite well, and I'm enjoying it. So what is happening? This equipment is pretty much spotting enemies for from 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds longer, and you are spotted for 2 seconds less or 1.5 seconds less. What is happening? So imagine that you are driving with Ferrari as a bloody pigeon, right? Or as an example, you are sitting in the bush with a light tank and you have everything pimped up. What to pimp up? Skill. Very good question, fellas. So first things first, what kind of, how this setup is looking like? I have everything prepared for you, my friends. So yeah, look at this. This is EBR setup. How everything is looking like, fellas. We are using the directive for focus on target. We have as a skill focus on target or designated target. And plus on top of that, if it's not enough, we have the this radio set. So what is happening? We are spotting enemies for 15.5 seconds by moving in front and back like headless pigeons, right? This equipment is not giving you anything for a gun power, right? You are not that strong gun handling wise, but you are sneaky ninja turtle which is getting spotted for less and which is spotting for more, right? So you can be crucial help for your team, right? And as you can see, this is great setup. But what you need to have in order to maximize it, you need to have this equipment of improved radio set, you need to have directive focus on target, and plus on top of that you need to have a skill of designated target. So here you go, this is how everything is looking like. I know this was like 20 minutes of rambling non-stop, but I wanted to give you many examples how to go, what to do the things, and how to use the things. One more example, fellas. You can mix the stuff over there as an example with a tank which is getting focused in the battlefield as 279E. Everyone knows that. Every single Arta player is saying, "Da skill, whenever I see 279, kaboom!" So what you are using, you are maximizing your DPM as much as you can, plus instead of, you are sacrificing a bit of the accuracy, but you are having anti-high explosive ammunition. Think about it, it's just great deal, right? I have seen 279s with which was using even different setup, which was going for more hit points in the field and to have better suspension, right? You know, once again, in the end of the day, everything is depending on you. Use whatever floats your boat, use what you think is the correct thing, and once again, experiment. There is no such a thing, fellas. Some people is looking into the game a bit too seriously, right? It's a game. Every single of us wants to have some fun. Every single of us here is to have a good time and to shoot some tanks, right? That's what we are doing here. So once again, there is no such a thing as right equipment to use. If you want to use a Binos, you want to use the Camonet, you want to use whatever else, do whatever you want and enjoy the game, and don't you know, just do you. This is the most important thing which I recommend for every single of you. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video was useful for you. I hope you had a good time. It was a lot of talks, but I hope I explained how everything is looking like and how to play the game. How maybe I helped you how to use the equipment, at least I hope so. Thank you so much for watching. Skill is out. See you tomorrow, fellas. Peace.